beauty of the program is that you have a whole group of people who are taking actions together, which makes it far less frightening.
In the beginning, they unlearn the myths and misinformation about grief. Then they take a set of actions, a very orderly set of actions that lead them to working on one specific relationship with someone living or dead, someone who was important in their life, with an objective of completing what was left emotionally unfinished by the ending of the relationship or by the current condition.
I first discovered the grief recovery method about a year after my surrogate mother had committed suicide. The relief that I got at the end of it was it was so freeing.
The method they learn is then applicable to the other losses or other relationships they've already have and any others they will have in the future. So they leave with this new sense of freedom and a sense of, I will know what to do, God forbid something happens, and that gives them a new safety and a new outlook on life, an expansion rather than contraction.
The biggest thing that I got and enjoyed was the personal work that I got to do myself and with the other women that were present. I really, really enjoyed that. We connected, there was a bonding that happened between us, there was a connection and a support with one another.
People talking about grief become good at talking about grief, and what's missing is recovery. So everything in the support group always aimed at recovery, not at supporting pain, not at supporting anything other than a movement towards discovering and completing what's emotionally unfinished.
Every grief recovery method outreach program is moderated by a certified grief recovery specialist who has been trained by us.
So if you go to our program in Denver, you'll also see the same thing you saw in Philadelphia, the same method. It doesn't change. The personalities change of the leaders, thank gosh, but we have a method that's uniform so nobody's guessing on what will help the grievers.
Grief recovery is one of the best things I've ever done with my life. I don't have to be afraid of my emotions. I feel better about myself. I can live again.
At last guesstimate, we think about 500,000 people throughout this country, and mostly, but also Canada and the rest of the world now, have been through grief recovery support groups run by people we have trained. It's a huge number when I think about 25 years ago when I first started with John at the Institute. And then it's a small number when I think, oh my gosh, our population is 300 million.
Lack of courage is not the problem, lack of knowledge is the problem. And so rather than have to get on a plane and go somewhere or something like that, we have trained people all over the world now who can deliver grief recovery in the local community.
One of the things that I like to share with people is I've never seen anyone go through this process and not have transformation on the other side.